Hey, good afternoon, everybody. With Missy Jen, usually you're out seeing me walking around in the afternoon, but I got pretty shaken up today, yes, for the second time in like 6 weeks. I almost got flattened today walking along, and I tell you, Missy Jen, I've come to the conclusion it is no longer safe to walk streets in America. You know, Honolulu just passed that law where you're not allowed to be looking at your phone when you're walking along, but it doesn't do anything for the other side of the equation for people that are texting and on their phones and that kind of stuff. And
driving.
Yeah, driving. I tell you guys, but it's just scary, you know.
And here there is actually a law that you're not supposed to text and drive.
For years.
And I actually watched 2 days ago. I was on the highway going 65. And I passed this girl, and she was staring like hypnotized at this picture on her phone, driving 65 on the highway.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot's changed in 20 years,
So,
and I've always enjoyed walking everywhere that I possibly could within a mile radius. You know, I like to walk the dogs. Georgie and stuff. I'm not going to stop doing that, but I'll tell you what, it's Missy Jen's like, to and from work. She dropped the hammer down. She said, I can't imagine the life without the Rosie girl out there, but I don't think I'm going to be, I think I'm going to be riding now.
No, either. I gave Rosie two options now. Either you're going to wear a football outfit.
Even.
From and to work, helmet and all the padding.
That ain't gonna happen.
Or you're gonna drive to work.
Yeah, so it looks like I'm gonna start driving to and from work. This was on the from work today in broad daylight with plenty of people out there. Have the clear crossing signal, broad daylight, other people crossing and doing other stuff like that, and this woman just comes roaring up to the intersection. And you know, you're kind of assuming that they're going to stop because it's broad daylight and she has a red light, and she's bombing away on her phone, you know, looking down at her phone, and the next thing she looks up and her eyes get real big and she slams on the brake, and that car came within about 1 inch of taking me out today and another girl that was walking from kindergarten today. So it's a really, you know, I'm telling you, it's not safe. People are just not aware when they're driving cars. I don't know what it is. They're just distracted driving is just crazy. You know, and last month I had a few complications from, you remember my leg?
Yeah, when you really did get hit, that bruise that moved from your knee into your foot, and then
it went down black and
went
blue.
all the way around into the other side of your ankle, and it took weeks. And
yeah, that was really scary.
Painful,
and I'm telling you, I didn't need to go through that again today. And luckily, you know, I mean, she just, you know, she goes, oh, you know, I'm so, you know, she was sorry, of course. But, you know,
sorry doesn't cut it anymore.
It's not going to cut it.
I mean, she can be glad I wasn't there because sorry doesn't cut it with me anymore.
So I'm telling you, don't assume anybody can see you out on the streets at any time of day, especially when you're crossing intersections and stuff like that. There's a lot of people, I've noticed speeding has increased dramatically over the last couple of years. When I went to, and I'm speeding, I was in the Central Valley. Of course, there's no pedestrians around. It used to be longer the days of the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit that nobody listened to anyway. Most people went 60, 65. Now they're posted 70, and most people are doing between 80 and 90. And on city streets, people are racing like crazy. And I kind of have the perception that the cops have just sort of pulled back from, you know, getting involved with speeding in vehicles.
Oh, it's in many areas, high traffic areas, even down in San Francisco. When you go towards San Mateo, they're like going 90 and 100. And, you know, the police presence has completely pulled back because everybody is going, everybody. Are you going to stop everybody?
Yeah, I think the police have soured on the idea of high-speed chases. You know, they'll put out some strips on the road, and hopefully that blows the tires out of the perp or whatever. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. but they're just thinking, is my life worth it? They also call
Right.
off chases if a speed exceeds a certain miles per hour. So, but that's got, it's just part and parcel of what's going out on the roads. A lot of you may not be out a lot. A lot of you may not walk or walk
Right.
streets and do things
If you do walk,
for the exercise.
you gotta have your eyes wide open and you gotta 360 continuously watch not only what you're doing, but you gotta watch every move other people around you are doing.
Yeah, I would just say assume you're going to be hit and then plan
Right.
accordingly when you're walking. Maybe that means that you have to wait till a intersection is totally clear, or you have to cross with a gang, so at least you have some initial people between you and the cars. Because I'll tell you, it's really getting out of hand, and it's just really shook me up today. The second time, it had nothing to do with the clothes. I'm fully seen on the road, and no problem at all, to do that. And I'll tell you, in the morning, when it's pitch black, and I don't cross anywhere where there's any cars around an intersection. I wait till everything is all totally clear, because I don't need somebody coming out like a bat out of hell out of somewhere that I haven't even seen and just racing because they're
People are
late to
just
work.
driving like crazy lately here in town anyways. I was pushed off the road twice within this last week.
Yeah, so the city's
And
kind of
it's
taking
just
advantage of things,
really
maybe here,
nuts.
Jan, because the police are tied up post-fire with other
Right,
traffic
yeah.
headaches and stuff like that. And, our traffic is horrendous here now as a result of that. But I'm just saying, guys, I almost bought the farm for a second time today. And, Missy Jen said that's it. The hammer has been dropped. Boom.
Odin, the hammer of the god, has smacken down again and said, enough is enough. I'm drawing the line.
Could you imagine a life without Rosie?
I couldn't
Really?
imagine that. If Rosie was gone, I would have to pack my stuff and move on to an island and live by myself in a straw hut
There we go.
for the rest of my life.
Wouldn't you miss Rosie? And let me just tell you guys, on a serious note, just assume that they don't see you on the street. I think that's the safest operating assumption
Yeah.
that you can work with now. Particularly, people tend to approach stop signs and stop lights at a high rate of speed now. It used to be you just kind of slow down and maybe time the light so you could continue moving. Now it just seems like people just race up to it, hit the brakes, and and seem to be on their phones and doing their thing.
Stop is not even a stop anymore. Stop means stopping it, waiting, looking, then starting again. I have not even seen anybody stop at a stop.
Hopefully your area is
anymore.
different. This is just the experience. The cities seem to go nuts since.
And we're not even
fire.
ghetto anymore. We are annexed into the city. So we're now actually city slickers here.
Yeah, we're no longer
For
in the
fuck's sakes.
unincorporated little Roseland here. We're part
Maybe
of
that's
the,
what's wrong with
don't
it.
know.
We're now city.
I don't know, but I almost bought the farm today, guys, and made some big changes that are going to be here for the duration. Now, it's not going to affect my afternoon walking, but you better be darn sure, since I got Georgie with me, I'm going to be ultra careful. I'll tell you, don't assume that people are going to stop for you at any time, any place.
That's
'Cause,
right.
There's too much distracted driving going on these days. It's not just the young people either. All right, everybody, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your afternoon. I'm still here.
Triple.
Yeah.